Shalom from the Dome! Last week in Colorado politics was another wild ride full of capital misinformation, awesome progress on healthcare bills, and unforced blunders by our second favorite U.S. Senator from Colorado, Cory Gardner. Also, I finally caught the horrible Capitol crud that's going around this year. Just get your flu shot, kids. Let's jump right in. If you live anywhere in Colorado, you already know the cost of healthcare is spiraling out of control. It's a process that's been going on for years, and while the Affordable Care Act is still helping people, we need to start thinking outside the box about how to bring down the cost of health insurance to less than a freaking mortgage payment. This week, Colorado lawmakers did just that with the groundbreaking bill on reinsurance. Just the word is enough, all by itself, to make your eyes glaze over. But for people suffering from unexpected healthcare costs, it can mean the difference between recovery and losing everything. The short version is that reinsurance is insurance for insurance companies, to make sure that they can cover the sickest patients and keep premiums affordable for everyone. This simple change could bring down premiums by 20 to 30% in the hardest hit areas of the state and take an actual proactive step in reducing healthcare costs for real people in Colorado, at least until 2020 when we win everything and pass Medicare for all, natch. The main event this week was once again one of the most controversial pieces of legislation up for debate this year in Colorado. 4 weeks, the House debated and finally passed legislation to require that if sex ed be taught in Colorado schools, which still isn't mandatory, that it be medically accurate, comprehensive, and non-discriminatory. Anna Staver with the Denver Post has a great article separating the fact from fiction on this bill. It's worth your time to give it a read. This is some common sense stuff, but the fake controversy over House Bill 1032 really has nothing to do with what the bill does at all.
It's a fake.
At House hearings last month and again Thursday in the Senate Health and Insurance Committee, hundreds of people showed up to testify. But in most cases, they weren't there to talk about the bill at all. They were there to testify about their personal hatred for the LGBTQ folks using the most graphic playground terminology that they knew. And once again, it got gross. I mean, really gross. So gross that the last time we included just a short clip of actual legislative testimony in one of these videos, Facebook rejected it. Like they wouldn't let us post this video. And that's the thing. Nothing in the bill requires any of the stuff that people were talking about to be taught to any child. That was a giant lie told by unethical right-wing political hacks to innocent people who didn't know any better, who then showed up to the Capitol and raved over total nonsense. Again, don't blame the regular people who came out to participate in the process for the craziness. Blame the paid political operatives, politicians, and losers who lied to them. Last week, legislation that would better protect the public from the harmful effects of oil and gas drilling near homes, schools, and businesses was finally announced. For years, towns and cities across the state have been trying to regulate land use within their boundaries in ways that make sense, meaning it's not always appropriate to have a huge industrial operation like an oil and gas fracking site right next to your house or a preschool. Rather than a one-size-fits-all policy that tilts the playing field badly in favor of oil companies, it's time to give local communities the power to make decisions on oil and gas drilling for themselves. In fact, most people are shocked when they learn the oil and gas industry's right to drill, baby, drill. Supersedes the zoning regulations they take for granted every single day. Whatever happens next, it's really important that Coloradans understand one thing. The oil and gas industry is not your friend. As I wrote about in my Denver Post column last week, in 2018 the industry spent $11 million trying to pass a ballot measure that would have destroyed the state's economy and given the industry the power to bankrupt any local government that tried to stop them from drilling anywhere, anytime, and for that matter, any other exploitative industry that found any kind of regulations inconvenient to their bottom line. Thankfully, the voters of Colorado figured out what an insane deception Amendment 74 was and voted it down 54 to 46. Ouch. Don't let the same people who just a few months ago spent tens of millions of dollars on one of the worst ideas ever proposed in Colorado tell you they want what's best for us. They don't. Finally, in Washington last week, Senator Cory Gardner suffered a full frontal faceplant when he waffled on whether to support President Donald Trump's preposterous national emergency declaration for his stupid wall.
A medieval wall!
Stealing disaster relief funds in order to stop the flow of undocumented immigrants that has plunged by more than 50% from its peak in the 1980s. There's no emergency, everybody knows there's no emergency, and before Donald Trump declared one, Cory Gardner pretended to be certain that we wouldn't even have one. But now that Trump's made good on his ridiculous promise to declare a national emergency, Cory Gardner has migrated from the don't do it camp to the I don't know camp.
I think the president's right to pursue additional border security dollars. Now we got to look into the legality and the legal questions around this.
The reason? Gardner doesn't need a reason. All this proves is that Gardner is Trump's toady yes man every time it matters, and nothing Gardner says before the final vote makes any difference. It doesn't matter if you love Trump or hate him. Either way, you can't trust Cory Gardner.
Bye, Cory!
And that's it for episode 6 of This Week in Colorado Politics. The support you've all shown these past few weeks has been amazing. We'll be back with another recap next week. Drop us a line, hit us up on social media, or tell us what you think in the comments. See you next week.
A medieval wall!